Now I'll admit that conceptually alone, this documentary got some potential. The idea of utilizing fossil evidence to suggest how prehistoric showdowns occurred is damn intriguing. There's a well-documented history of dinosaur collisions, and with such cases like the Protoceratops on Velociraptor stalemate, it feels that there is a potential for some interesting showdowns. Now, as for the show utilizing them, well, to be perfectly honest, it's not a good documentary. I mean, the argument could be made that it's a fun dinosaurs beat each other up kind of show, at least when it gets to it. But flaws are still flaws, and are necessary to address. So let's start with the first 2/3, where it's just the talking heads just explaining the fight to come. Now, while some of the information is accurate, there are a lot of misinformation which makes this section a little hard to take seriously. A great place to start is the fossils these dinosaurs or paleo creatures based on. Now, despite the deceptive narrator telling us these are some hardcore forensics, deciphering what happened, however, these introductory fossils are more of a catalyst for Dino George to make his own narrative of how the fights went down. Admittedly, this is more of a minor noise, as despite being deceptive, there's no sure way to know what exactly happened to some of these fossils. As with something as a jungle fullest with bite marks from its own species, you could assume anything. Mating dispute, territorial dispute, just plain hungry. So okay, George can make whatever story he wants out of these. However, some of the fights require some pulling. One specific one that strikes out in my mind is the T-Rex versus Raptors. Want to know the catalyst for that? An Edmontosaur tail, with some scratches from raptors. No evidence of there even being a T-Rex. Like, what? You're just gonna assume a T-Rex scared the raptors away? Okay, other issues with talking heads. Well, there are just the blatantly inaccurate facts, such as stating a T-Rex's mouth is poisonous, even though we now know that probably wasn't true. However, something that annoys me more than inaccurate facts, contradictions in your own internal logic. As certain episodes would go in depth with their claims, yet act like they don't apply in other episodes. Specific examples? Well, Cannibal Dinosaurs made a big deal about the sexual dimorphism, yet that detail is never carried out in other episodes. Like what? All these raptors are one gender? Also, Pack Hunters, they made a big deal about how difficult it was for these 8 Deinonychus to take down this one Tyrannosaurus. Alright, that's great, pretty realistic. But then in a similar scenario with Raptors versus T-Rex, 4 Dromaeosaurs took down this Edmontosaur, which is bigger in proportion compared to Tyrannosaurus against Deinonychus. And it gets taken down with more ease? What? Misunderstanding of facts one thing, but the idea of using a certain set of logic in one scene, yet contradicting it in the next, well...
Oh, hypocritical. What'd you say?
You said it best, you murderous psychopath. What am I saying? Oh yeah, Jurassic Fight Club. So now let's get to the dinosaurs actually fighting. This is arguably the most fun part, due to us seeing these CGI dinosaurs actually fight. These mofos are ruthless. Let's start with models. They are pretty shoddy. Some evident examples include how the hands are wrong. I'll just say, the palms should be facing each other, not facing down. And also, for some reason they decided to give Pachyrhinosaurus a horn, despite fossil evidence showing no indication. Are you assuming they just didn't survive fossilization? Well, other horns did. Seriously, if you wanted them to have a horn so bad, why didn't you pick a ceratopsin that actually had a horn? There are plenty of those that have been in the same situation. Okay now. There are other faults with the model that are admittedly not in the creator's control. You see, part of the reason the series was relegated to 1 season is due to issues with budget, as making the CGI dinosaurs were already too much, meaning some of these flaws come from the limitations. And hey, I get it. I'm an amateur animator. I get how it's hard to deal with appendages like feathers, or create a lot of models, so I understand. But hey, I might as well still point out these flaws. So okay, no feathers. Seriously, the raptors and tyrannosaurs should be covered, yet the most we get are some quills on some of the raptors. Bleh. Also, there are some areas where it felt like there needed to be more dinosaurs, like during the 2 instances with raptor hunting.
Yeah, that's right.
And then finally there's the issue of reusing models, specifically with the babies, where they would just be a smaller version of an adult model. And nowhere is it more apparent than with the T-Rex. My God! We've clear evidence that, like any animal, there are physical differences between the youth and adults. A baby T-Rex would not look like a smaller version of a bigger T-Rex. No one's gonna mistake this fetus for a Nanotyrannus. They should have used a Nanotyrannus model to represent the younger T-Rex. Just reskin it, then hey, you got your younger T-Rex. Although they wouldn't have made Nanotyrannus nearly as hateable. More on that later. Okay, now that I dished it out on the models, let's discuss how the actual fights were portrayed. Now this right here might be one of the more intriguing aspects of the show. As to why? Well, let's break down why animals fight. Most often it's due to food, sometimes territory, occasionally there's mating involved. However, with the show, they have a tendency of elevating the fights. They try incorporating themes like incest, child murdering, prejudice, genocide, gender issues. These fights are getting political. Like, oh boy, Nanotyrannus really hates T-Rex. The way he intimidates these young T-Rex makes me feel like he's some kind of pedo child murderer. Reminds me of the psychos I see on the news. And oh boy, seeing these Jungle Full's fights evoke strong feelings about gender issues. Yeah, take that, female. How does it feel to be the same gender as Hillary Clinton? Well, take that, male. How does it feel to be the same gender as Donald Trump? Oh boy. Now let me just say I like me my politics. I'm not even saying animals can't have a complex motivation. However, if you are to incorporate these more elaborate themes, it has to not seem too human, and not feel too manipulative. So let's look at, for example, T-Rex Hunter. The young T-Rexes are left behind, while both of the parents are off on a hunt. Right off the bat, I am questioning why they both need to go on a hunt, considering most of its prey is roughly T-Rex's size. And shouldn't one of the adults be staying behind to protect the young? Much like with lions? But right, both need to be gone so the kids are alone in the house. So anyway, when Nanotyrannus comes onto the scene, it becomes clear. They really want to make T-Rex look like the good guy, and Nanotyrannus like the bad guy. I mean, look at Nano's design. That ghoulish face in deathly colors. It just screams no chill. Look how fearsome he is compared to these miniature adult T-Rexes. Look at that Nano crush that baby Tyranno. Ruthless. And just to really drive this point home, when the mama comes home, Nano is so overcome by bloodthirst. He had to finish off the baby T-Rex. Being crushed by the mama T-Rex. Yeah, T-Rex, woohoo! Okay, so here, 2 points are illustrated. One, these dinosaurs neglecting their survival instinct just so we could push narrative. It was really apparent here, and it was extremely apparent in Bloodiest Battle. Practically everything they did was a death sentence. No, get away from the tail. God. No, don't go towards the camera source. You got 3 dead bodies back there. Just eat those before they become rotten. Don't risk your life. Please, Allie, just get away from the tail. Don't go under the camera source. Don't go, don't. You idiot! Side note, Allosaurus is George's favorite dino. But yeah, an animal's main goal is survival. They would generally steer clear of death. Oh, and number 2, it's the skew of trying to make some dinosaurs more likable than others. With dinosaurs like T-Rex and Allosaurus, when he's not an idiot, there's a staging to make them seem heroic, badass. In contrast to other dinosaurs, like Nanotyrannus and Majungaphilus, the attempt is to make them look weak. Savage. It just comes off as manipulative. But yeah, overall, this isn't really a good dinosaur documentary. While it does have entertaining dinosaur sequences, the inaccuracies and presentation of facts ultimately weighed down. To get a sense of what a more ideal version of this show would be, my suggestion is to look into the truth about killer dinosaurs, specifically the Velociraptor and Ankylosaurus episode. There, they utilize more honest facts to demonstrate the prehistoric clash, and less manipulative methods. That's my say.